Win before you begin. Can anybody tell me what they think this means? Win before you begin. And you can use the chat box. You can unmute yourself. What is winning before you begin?
Believing in yourself.
I love that. Chris, believing in yourself. Anybody else? It's a mindset. Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say preparing yourself and putting everything that you need or the processes in place so they're already ready for you when you need them.
When processes in place. Tom goes, it is prep and attitude. These are all fantastic. But I just want you to think about this for a second. If I were to ask you, how do you lose before you begin? What would you tell me then? And I kind of want to get the wheels turning. We kind of want to get the wheels turning. Losing. How do you lose?
Thinking negative thoughts, thinking you can't do this.
Bad prep and attitude, negative thoughts. But this is where a lot of us get caught up or tripped up. Is that, and it's not your fault, it's not my fault, it's nobody's fault. But humans, we were built to survive. We weren't built to enjoy music, to have nice things. We were built to survive. And what comes with survival? One may argue fear. And what happens when we're fearful? Our whole philosophy on things change. Our mindset changes. So what do? We regress. We get in our own heads. Win before you begin is just a mindset. Now, don't get me wrong. There is going to be tools and exercises that we're going to break down today. But if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you let that transition with you or carry over for the rest of the day, what do you think your outcome is going to be? If you have a business plan that you've committed to, but again, you got in a fight with your wife, another agent is aggravating you, your kids, how is that going to roll over or transition into your business? Now, I'm not saying all those things aren't going to happen. The problem is that's what we focus on. We focus on the worst case scenario. And when we focus on those things, that's where our minds, they stay. So I really believe winning before you begin, yes, albeit psychologically speaking, is extremely important. You still have the decision to make. It's still always going to be your decision. It's going to be your choice. But just like beliefs, you can think it, you can know you're going to succeed, but if you don't take the proper actions, then nothing is going to happen. Win before you begin. Don't let all the outside noise get in your way. So if we know what it takes to win, let me step back. If we know what it takes to fail or to lose, what should we be doing then? Because that's how we're built. And let's put it in real estate terms to make it really simple. If we know what we aren't doing isn't working, what should we be doing? If we're not following up, if we're not prospecting, if we're not posting content, what should we be doing?
All of those things.
The exact opposite. It's that simple. That's it. You know how to lose. We all know how to lose. All you have to do is the opposite. Again, I'm not trying to oversimplify things, right? But it is a mindset. And once you've told yourself that you're going to commit to doing this, and you take a few of the tools that we're going to show you today and you start implementing them into your business, we don't tell you these things because they don't work. This comes from experience. Those are the things we're going to talk about today. I need participation. The coach can participate because it's also his mastermind. But what is the key to success? Put it in the chat, unmute yourself. There's no wrong answer. That's not entirely true. What's the key to success?
Having a plan.
Plan. Excellent, Chris. Anybody else? Oh, chat box. Joe, massive action, keeping at it, passion and intensity. Oh, see, I love it. Just so you know, I love the fact that you guys are contributing, right? It shows me that you care. You took the time. It's a mindset. You care that you're here. These are all great things. The key to success. What is the key to success? What if I told you it was all of those things, but they're broken down into patterns? Patterns are the key to success. We talk about habits, and we talk about habits all the time. All habits are either good patterns or bad patterns. That is the true secret to success. Following a pattern, nothing more, nothing less. Can someone give me an idea of a pattern that they believe is going to lead them or create or build success? What's a good pattern, a good habit? Put it in the chat, say something.
Waking up early, hit the ground running, mind, body, spirit, making sure you feel strong every day. I believe the biggest thing is that plan. So when you wake up in the morning, you're not getting up at 10 o'clock in the morning, you're up at 6 in the morning because you're trying to get your day rolling in a positive way.
That's excellent. Starting your day early, an excellent pattern, right? Focusing on yourself, becoming a better version of yourself before you can become a better version of yourself professionally, before you can become a better husband, realtor, whatever the case is. You take time, right, to focus on yourself, regular outreach. Yes, up early to work. Person who talks the most virtually or face-to-face sells the most houses. Yeah, those people have patterns. What are they doing? They're constantly talking to people. They're waking up early. They're focusing on themselves. It's a good habit. And if you can create a habit, doing it long enough, and I'm not talking about doing something. Does anybody know how long it takes to create a good habit? Anybody? How long does it take to create a habit?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 21 days. I've heard 30 days, 60 days, whatever the case is. If you are really committing to something, if you can commit to it and you can push through, what I believe, what's worked for me is 21 days. It was 3 weeks for me. If you can commit to that, you know how hard it is to stop a moving train? It's really hard. It's really, really, really hard. So now that you've created the pattern, the habit, how likely is it that you follow through with it? And here's the problem. We know, because we all have patterns, some good, some bad. But if you don't take action on either resolving those bad habits, fixing those bad habits, what's ultimately going to happen? It's simple. Nothing. Nothing happens. But it's not because you just know what the pattern is. You've committed to it. Good habits. Waking up early, brushing your teeth, making the bed. We all know these things. These are things that we do. We don't even have to think about them. What else is a good habit? It could be business or life related. Give me a habit that you know that you perform that is good.
Well, you're not going to like it, but I always believe looking sharp.
Okay, well
Presenting yourself
that's an insult for anybody who didn't catch that, right? Professionally
Well, you
speaking.
always say, I don't know why you wear the suits, but I really believe that does help. And listen, you have your own image in your own way, and you don't look like a bum out there, but you're not going to wear a suit. And I get that. But like, I think as part of my package, this is what you get when you hire Coach Dan. When I'm in a suit, I feel more powerful. I feel stronger. I feel smarter. I feel more successful. And I feel like I'm going to get that $800,000 listing when I walk in looking good. Me and Chris went, to a list appointment over the weekend looking sharp. Like, that's just part of my thing. That's part of my pattern. Even if it's a really nice polo with a nice watch and khakis, I'm going to iron it. I'm going to polish my shoes. I'm going to try to present myself as like, you're a professional. And that was always the way. Even when I was a cop, I would polish my boots. I would polish my gun. My uniform would look good. I wanted to look like a guy that would whoop your ass if you tried something. And I think that kept me alive. You take a good look at me and you'd be like, that guy's pretty well put together. His gun is polished. Like he's probably somebody that's got it together. So I don't know. That's a big core belief of mine. I know, I'm not saying it's completely right for everyone, but it's just something that's always been a part of who I am.
Yeah, and that following that pattern builds confidence. You just have more confidence in yourself no matter who you're approaching. Right? For some people, it's the fact that they're they know a lot about something, or they're educated about something, and maybe it's presentation for some people. For me, it's you can ask me any question as far as the business is concerned, and I'm going to have an answer. For me, image is still going to always be important. For me, I do it a little differently. I always wear something EXP branded, a logo, right? I wear my brand. It's a pattern. I won't go anywhere with a client, right, without having something EXP on me. Even I'll wear my hat all the time to the grocery store. It's a pattern. It's a must, right? Because I know that this creates opportunity. When you're approachable because you look sharp, you feel good. Oh, that may lead to results. Or at the very least, if you did the actual opposite, what is you would have no results whatsoever. If you didn't do something that moved you forward. Good patterns are the literal secret to any success. And if you don't believe me, I've sold over $20 million worth of real estate in my career, over $250 million of real estate in my career. I've seen it. I see what people do. You take bits and pieces. You mirror those. You wonder, what are the things that I should be saying? Or what are these people doing to find so much success? Success leaves clues. There isn't something in today's digital age that a top producer is doing that is private. I promise you. Tips and tricks of the trade, maybe dialogue, right? That's all out there because none of this is overly complicated. If you've got good patterns in your life and you can create good patterns in your business, what is going to happen? You're going to find success either way. I'll give you a prime example. Same thing with working out. We talk about health, how important it is. Well, a pattern that I created 760 days ago exactly was I decided that I was going to not necessarily ride the bike, but I was going to work out every single day. And this is how strong, when I talk about psychology, this is how strong the mind is. I cannot go a single day without moving or closing my move ring on my watch. It's psychologically, it would destroy me. It's so bad in a good way because that's an excellent pattern, right? It's an excellent habit to close my move ring to the point where if I'm tired or exhausted and I still need to close, or I have, I don't know, X amount of steps to get in or X amount of calories to burn, my wife will ask me, you can't go to sleep until you close it. I think it means more to her because of my obsession with it than it does to actually me. 760 days ago, I made a commitment to myself that this is exactly what I was going to do. Right? I know to the day because it also tells me cheat sheet every single day, like this is your longest active streak. Can I just tell, and I've been sick in the past 760 days. I've been on vacation multiple times in the past 760 days. I have a child coming in less than 90 days and nothing is going to get in my way. Nothing. Because I've seen what it's done for me, right? It's so important So we know that patterns, good habits, what can come if I stop working out, what do I think is going to happen? I know the way I eat, even albeit I do intermittent fasting, I'm overeat, which is a bad habit, right? It's simple. Overeating, eating at the wrong times, not exercising. If I know all those things are going to work against me, as simple as it may sound, all I have to do is the quite literal opposite. That's it. If I have no clients, I guarantee you I can tell you one thing, and that's what I'm not doing. I'm not talking to people. If I'm talking to people, I'm not following up with people. I'm not posting on social media. I'm not advertising my business. I'm not contacting my sphere of influence or my database. So I have to create a habit of doing this, right? And guess what? We can all say time. Time is an excuse, family, you name it. But at the end of the day, you just got to want it bad enough. You've got to want to do it. But there are a couple tips and tricks that we think that we can teach you along the way that might help you with accountability, might motivate you just a little bit. And we're going to talk about two of them today. And we promise we're not going to run over the hour. The first one the coach is going to take, because this is something near and dear to him, but something also that I've incorporated into my business, into my life, right? And we're going to get into that. But I want to preface with this. You might think what we're about to show you and what the coach is about to talk about is a little silly, rudimentary. Like, come on. Really, that helps build success? I want you to go into this with an open mind. What we're going to talk about, what the coach is going to head into, is creating a vision board. First of all, does anybody, before the coach gets started, does anybody have a vision board? Be honest. Joe? Awesome.
I have one.
Chris, you got a vision board?
Yep, I actually have it on my phone every day when I wake up. I see it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And what does that do for you guys?
Keeps my focus on what I'm trying to accomplish.
Joe, what about you?
Yeah, it keeps my goals in perspective and what I'm waking up and trying to accomplish at the end of the day or week, month.
That's awesome. I also, too, have a vision board. And we used an example here, guys, because some vision boards, like Chris's, like mine, like Joe's, a lot of them can be personal, right? And some of that personal information we don't want to share, but the concept is still there. I'll let the coach talk a little bit more about it and some of the things that he has on his board.
Yeah, so long story short, I was a 22-year-old kid in the military with a pretty high motor, with a pretty high level of positive energy anyway. But I took this college course. I was just trying to get my degree, trying to, figure myself out. And I took this college course, and this guy named Dr. Stephen Bassett, who I'm still great friends with today, he made us all go to this goal board visualization thing. And almost everybody there thought it was stupid. I took to it like water. And basically it was the preface that you choose your attitude. You wake up every day, you choose your attitude, and that success is either a choice or success is a choice. You either choose to fail, you choose to succeed. And this guy's mantra was that if you put goal board, you just cut out pictures in magazines and you put a goal board around the life that you wanted to have, and you work towards that life intently, that the life that you wanted to have would come true. So I took to this, right away, because I'm already kind of a max positive guy. So I said, what the heck? I'll try it. If it doesn't work, what the heck? And I cut these things out and put it on there. And what I found is any goal that I put on my goal board, I've accomplished. Any goal. And it became an obsession. So I put some pretty crazy goals. Win Cop of the Year of the Air Force, did it. Rolex, did it. Beautiful house at the time, living in housing, did it. Dodge Ram pickup truck, which at the time was so far out of the realm with a boat on the back, did it. Making tech sergeant, did it. Make staff sergeant the first time, did it. Get a perfect score on my PT exam, get it. You know, run a 5K, 3 miles in less than 18 minutes, did it. Anything I put on that goal board, I started to do. Get an instructor, did it. Win instructor of the year for the entire, for the entire military, did it. Get out, be a college basketball coach. Put a picture of Coach K up in there, did it. Put a picture of Dunn Academy, build a great basketball program, did it. I met my wife, as weird and as creepy as this sounds, but I was like, that's the woman I want to marry. I put her up there on the goal board. So I looked at her every day. I was like, I got to live a life consistent of someone that woman would want to be with. Got her, married her, right? Anything I put on my goal board now, it's more about father. It's about success. It's about, it's about things that I want to do in business. But what's crazy is when I became a college professor, they hired me to do goal boards with every freshman who took my course. And the amount of students that came back for the second semester was staggering. They said, they were losing like 30, 35% of their kids would do one semester and then wouldn't return. If they took my course, it was like 90%, 92, 93% would come back for that second semester because I got them excited about who they were. I do it with my basketball players. 9th grade, what are you here at Doane to do? Who are you? What are you going to do about it? What are we trying to do with this school and this basketball program? And I can tell you this, the kids who took it serious end up being phenomenal players. The kids who I find it in the garbage after class, I teach a course, a elective called Coach Analytics. Both Chris's kids were in it. They loved it. The kids who took it serious end up being great players, going on playing college. The kids who folded it up and put it in a trash can when class was over, I can almost guarantee you they went on to be a huge disappointment in their basketball career. I can think of 3 examples where I saw it in the garbage and thought, man, that's not a good sign. And they ended up being nothing compared to what we recruited them to be. So I'm a big believer in goal board motivation. I think it's a huge part of my life. If I wasn't embarrassed to put numbers and things out because, it's very private information, but actually in a pile behind me, I've kept them. I've kept them every year I've done one. And sometimes I go back and I can't believe the level of goals that have changed. There's a time, there was a time 60,000 was on there. Like if I could just make $60,000, I could take care, I could be okay. And now those goals are like, just monsterly over that. Like the level of goals of just, one vacation. If I could save up to do one vacation. And now I'm like, every quarter we're going here, here, and there. So it's just incredible to see that the way the goals have changed, the way that the expectations of life have changed, the way that the expectation of success has changed. And when I look at life, this goal board thing has been such a huge thing for me. I teach my kids to do it. Any kid that comes and lives with me, my door's always open to any player that's having a rough time. Well, the first thing we do is a goal board and hang it over the fireplace. And there was a kid who was well over 300 pounds, who was having so much trouble. His parents sent him to Doane. They were far away. They said, "Can he live with you?" Yeah, he could live with me. The first night he was there, this kid was broken. His coach at his school said he would never play a meaningful minute of high school basketball. He wasn't very smart. He's struggling at school. And I said, listen, let's do a goal board. This were the things on his goal board. And every year we hung it above my fireplace in Pemberton. He said, I want to have a 3.0 GPA. I want to weigh under 200 pounds. I want to be the captain of the basketball team. I want to play college basketball. And the biggest goal, which seemed impossible at the time, was I want a girlfriend. We got on P90X together. Long story short, this kid ended up being the best role player we probably ever had. Went on to play college basketball. He led the state in charges taken, got 2 teeth knocked out, taking a charge, handed me his teeth while he ran back down the other end, didn't even stop the game. Ended up being one of the most incredible success stories we ever had. He got down with P90X. He got down like 170 pounds, still is passionate about his fitness today. He did get a beautiful girlfriend, took her to prom. He had exactly, if you want to talk about how this works, exactly a 3.0 GPA. And he went on and played college basketball at Division II level. This kid, everything he put on his goal board seemed like the biggest stretch of all time. And he accomplished every single one. So I'm a big believer in it. And I would say this, I think a lot of times what we do is we sell ourselves too short. We are capable of accomplishing anything, anything we put our minds to. Any dream you have, you can do at any age. It's a matter of discipline, which is the key to all things good in your life, and it's a question of want to. What I've seen people accomplish in business, what I've seen people accomplish in athletics, what I've seen people accomplish in anything comes down to this: obsession. When you have goals up on a board, you become obsessed with achieving those goals. And without obsession, nothing happens that is truly amazing. I listen to Grant Cardone's podcast. He says it all the time. You know, show me people that slow down. I'll show you people that don't get to their goals. Right? One thing about me is I don't slow down much. I'm always going. I'm always moving. I'm always on to the next goal. And we got some big announcements coming in the next weeks. I can't wait to share with everybody. But you want to do something crazy. You want to have a helicopter. You want to be a millionaire. You want to be an unbelievable realtor. You want to build 10 businesses to hand down to your kids. Get yourself obsessed. Become obsessed with success. Become obsessed with your goals. Become obsessed with who you are and where you're going. Because without obsession, we end up being average, right? If there's nothing else that I'm good at, it's being obsessive, right? Being a maniac. We talk about it all the time, being a fanatic for your business. Get you a goal board up there. Get some goals up there that make you uncomfortable, and then go get them. You'll be shocked. And another crazy thing before I go. Sales, man. I mean, I had years on there where like the first goal of sales was to get the silly bronze award, 2.4 million. Like that was the first goal, like 2.4 million. And then I wanted the office record at Central 21 where I wanted to do 4.2 million. That was such a big thing. I was going to get a BMW and I was going to, go take the vacation I always wanted if I could just get to 4.2 million. I'd be ashamed of myself if I only sold 4.2 million now. That's how much life changes when you set goals. They just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And next thing you know, you got this life that you're just like, how did this happen? Well, you set some goals and you accomplished them. You're beautiful. If you ever need anybody to remind you that you're successful enough, handsome enough, beautiful enough, driven enough, good enough, talented enough, you ever need anyone to remind you that you can make these goals happen, call me. That's what I'm here for. And if you need some bum cream, Michelangelo's right. The bum cream and the fitness took his energy to a whole different level. Whatever you need to feel more confident, do it. Exercise, health, Tony Robbins. Get to a Tony Robbins thing. You want to talk about motivation. Stop making excuses. He makes you put your excuses in a box and burn them. Like wonderful stuff. But goal board motivation, if you ain't doing it, you were wrong. Love you.
That's amazing, Coach. And he makes such a great point when we talk about being obsessed versus just average. How many people out there do you think have goals? A lot of people have goals. Having goals is pretty average. I'm not saying that they aren't ambitious goals, but they're average. Do you think somebody who just has goals, who knows what those goals are, when those goals aren't changing, are the same one day to day, and which can be the same, can be said for having a vision board, but you're obsessed when you have a vision board. I thought this was the dumbest shit I have ever seen in my life 4.5 years ago. The dumbest thing. I said, you think I need, this is ego, by the way, psychology. This is where I was. I said, do you think I need and mind you, this person who basically explained the concept, the power behind the vision board, is now one of many mentors that I have. I'll leave it at that. And I still thought, I didn't even know he was a mentor at the time until after the fact. So I'm not doing this. I did this in elementary school. He said, okay, don't do it. Then I got a little pissed. What do you mean don't do it? I thought you were going to force me to do it. He said, no, you can choose whatever, your life, your decision, your choice. I said, okay. So what did I do the next day? I created a vision board. Now, hear me out. He explained why. And I still didn't think it was enough of a reason for me to go out there and actually take time clipping things out. Guys, I don't even have a printer. Where was I going to find all these things? All I did was make excuses, why I didn't need it, why I didn't want to do it. Long story short, I created the vision board and I put it in my office. And again, this was about 4.5 years ago. Put it in my office. And something crazy happened. I saw it every single day. This massive whiteboard. It was this thing was so cool. I opened it up. There was a massive whiteboard. I had basically like a sticker board on the side of it. I was tracking my numbers, my metrics, all that other stuff. And then on the left-hand side of the door, I put the vision board. And I had to look at it every single day. And I put up things that I wanted, things that I wanted to achieve. I wanted a new house. I wanted new cars. I wanted more time. I actually put a clock up there. How do I create more time? We can't create more time. Time is the most valuable asset that we have, right? And we can't get it back. We just can't. I mean, I put vacations, you name it, I had it up there on the board. And one day, I'm walking by the board, and it so happened to be the last day I ever walked by this particular board. It was the day I was selling my home and buying my new home, the one I'm in now, which was on my vision board. Now I can go into the micro details about everything I wanted in that home. We got it all. Guys, all I did was look at it. I used it to drive me. I used it to motivate me. And before you know it, I'm just crossing things off. You heard the coach talk about how he's had multiple boards over the year, and I have new boards and new goals now. I'm going to be completely honest with you. The most powerful thing about the board for me wasn't actually achieving all of those things. It was achieving them all and thinking that that's what was going to fulfill me in life. And for me personally speaking, right? And that's what we want you to take away from this personal experiences that we have. And don't worry, guys, we're not going to get, all kumbaya every time we're on here. Next time we meet, we're diving deep into buyers, the following, deep into sellers. But don't dismiss this. Even if you're watching this, don't, at a later point in time, don't dismiss the power of this. It's winning before you begin. It's creating good habits, creating good patterns, right? They yield results. These things yield results. And everything that we talk about week over week over week over week, it's all relative. Believe me when I tell you. But when it came to the vision board, the goal board, I had it all. I really thought that's what I wanted. That's what I needed. And then it wasn't until then that I realized I already had everything that I wanted. Money wasn't an object. It didn't bring me any more happiness. All I wanted to do was become a better person. The money came as a byproduct. And you could say, oh, that's easy for you to say at this point. You're in a better position, maybe multiple incomes, whatever the case is. I manifested my whole, I don't belong here. I manifested everything that I ever became. And here's a little secret. I haven't even gotten started. We're just getting started, right? But when I realized that, then my goals started to change. Help more people, be a better husband. We wanted a baby, and now we're pregnant, right? Less than 3 months, and we'll have our first daughter. Guys, and yes, I believe in higher faith, but I'm not here to talk about religion. I'm here to tell you that this stuff actually works. And if you don't think successful people are clipping out things in a magazine or actually putting paper to pen about the things instead of just forcing yourself to remember, trying to hold yourself accountable, these tools exist for a reason. And I'm the same person who thought this was absolutely pointless. Right? So maybe you go back and you put your vision board somewhere where you can see it every day. Maybe like Chris, it's on your phone. Right? But for me, it was somewhere I was going to be every single day. And again, for me, what I realized after the fact was way more powerful. But again, don't just skip to what you think is going to fulfill you in life. Understand, had I not achieved those things, I would still be working towards them. But for me, it was different. What I was looking for was different, right? So I want that to make sense for you guys. Does that make sense? Don't do what we do. Do pieces of it. Take pieces of it and create your own business. Whatever it is, life or business. Take bits and pieces of it. The next thing, so that's create a vision board. Pretty powerful. Pretty powerful stuff. Wouldn't you agree? The next thing I'm going to break down, something that's helped me in my business, is not just having, so Coach will talk about daily habits all day, every day. Super important. For me, when I first learned about when I attended my first Danalytics, when he broke down daily habits, and this was years ago, just so you know, I was a student too. And I went to and I listened, said, okay, all right, I'm going to take this a step further and I'm going to create an actual routine of the activities that I need to perform every single day to hold myself not only accountable, but so I can see the results. Just so you know, all this stuff has changed over time. It wasn't always the same. This is the most current version of my regimen, of my routine. And I do these things. You don't see Saturday here, right? Because you don't see Saturday or Sunday. Don't get it. I have to mentally tell myself I'm not here on Saturdays and Sundays, but I am. Those of you on this call know that. You can always reach me. But I've created this. But not only did I create this, and I look at this every single day. I have a routine. But for me, it wasn't just remembering the routine. I had to put pen to paper. Obviously, this is digital, right? We know I don't have a printer. I don't use pens. I don't use paper. This is in my phone. But here's where it gets even crazier. I took this routine and then I implemented it into my calendar. It wasn't just that I was going to go to Monday Scroll, figure out exactly what I needed to do just to maintain my business, my quality of life. I took it a step further and I forced myself to be reminded. Right? So it's in my certain events are in my calendar. Right? And this works for me. This is something that I need. People ask me, what do you do on Mondays? What do you do on Tuesdays? What do you do on Wednesdays? How does it differ? And I want you to keep something else in mind. My routine, this is just to maintain. If you think I do every one of these actions every single day, you'd be foolish. It's impossible. I can't do this every single day, right? Why? Because as you'll notice, this is barring any calls or any appointments. However, you ever have a little downtime and you're like, wow, this is really nice. I have a little downtime. I know a lot of us realtors out there find ourselves with a lot of downtime. Downtime is bad time. I don't have any downtime. So if I think for a second I have downtime, trust me, there's something I should be doing. Something I should be doing that works for me, that I know is going to move my business forward, right? So, whether you wake up at 4:30 in the morning, my wife thinks I'm crazy, or you wake up at 8 o'clock, whatever your routine is, it's you. Create one. It's just like a business plan and follow it. The problem with this is the example that you're staring at right here on the screen is that it means nothing. It means nothing if you don't follow through on every single action. And this is what I needed to hold myself accountable. I'm visual. I mean, for goodness sakes, like I talk with my hands. I'm visual. I need to see it. If I don't see it, it doesn't exist. If it's not on my calendar, before this call, one of the agents in the organization, great partner of ours, reached out to me, what time do you have tomorrow? In appointments, I found a time that I'm available to meet him at Starbucks. We're going to do some catching up. He's got a couple plans and a couple ideas he wants to run by me. Okay, I have this. If I don't, I can say it, I can confirm it, but if I don't put it down, if it's not in my calendar, it'll never happen, right? So what I need to do on a daily basis is, barring appointments, it doesn't matter if I have appointments, I have to hold myself accountable to getting these actions done. I don't send certain emails. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going on, right? Even it doesn't matter how many people show up, how many click. I track all those metrics. I know everybody who opens an email. I know everybody that clicks a link. I know everybody that watches a video. I track it all. I know what works. So you're asking yourself, if you know what works, why don't you do it, right? Well, sometimes just like you, like anybody else, I'll find an excuse. But then subconsciously, because I've created such a habit of actually having this in the palm of my hand 24/7, I go back to it. I know what I have to do. This holds me accountable. What's on here, don't mirror it. Do whatever you want to do. This is just an example. Again, we're not here to tell you to do exactly the things that we're doing. We're here to tell you that these things work. I wake up early just so everybody knows not to be a better realtor. Shocking. I don't do, I could care less. I do not wake up. I wake up early so I could focus, spend time on myself, on being a better version of me. Spending time up here. If I can become a better version of me, don't you think for a second that that's going to transition into my business? I can guarantee you it does. Again, works for me. Knowing when to shut down, right? Dedicating certain activities or certain times to certain activities. These are things that I have to do. If you don't have a plan, you have nothing. You have nothing. You have no roadmap. How do you know where you're going? Instead, we wake up whenever we wake up. We make a couple calls if we make a couple calls. And then we complain that we have no business. I was there. But I wasn't focusing on maintaining. I wasn't focusing on income producing activities. And then when I found what worked, that's what I shift focus to. This will change again over time. Make no mistake about it. Coach, do you have any, we all know daily habits, how important it is. Is there anything that you do on a weekly or daily basis that really, that you cannot not get away with doing?
I can't get away from being there for people. So like when our agents need me or somebody calls and schedules a meeting, like I'll drop my personal business to do that. That's part of being a leader. So if I have if I have something for my own personal business, but like somebody needs me to help them on a listing or help them with training them, like I'll move my appointment back to them because I feel like that's part of an obligation. I have to do that. But one of the main things, is there's no gaps in my schedule ever. And people constantly will say, like, you need to slow down, you're doing too much. And I'm like, well, that's your problem. The fact you can't fill your schedule, that you can't fill your motivation enough to work 100 hours a week, that's your fault. Because I'm going to get after it. I'm going to achieve my goals. But the one thing I will do is I can't get away of not blocking time for my family. But the most important thing, too, is if there are gaps in my schedule, I fill them. And a lot of times I'll fill them with moving forward, moving relationships forward. This is a relationship business. Winners are always building relationships. I just sat down with an animal sanctuary, and I'm going to do a little thing there where I try to help them grow, and they're going to try to help me grow. So if there's gaps in your schedule, you may not be hungry enough. How bad do you want to succeed? I remember thinking, I've got to hunt for my own food now. I just quit my teaching job. I got to hunt for my own food now. And I remember thinking, no matter what it takes, I'm not going to fail. I'm going to go out there and drum up business. And that's the hardest part is like, we could teach you a billion different ways how to sell real estate and do contract, do these things, but you've got to attack life in a way that winners do. And that's what we're trying to do, is create winners, create successful people, change mindsets, change lives, want more, see more, work more. I'm miserable when I'm not moving something forward. I could never sit down. Hell, I can't even sleep. It's just a mindset shift of saying, this is my own business. And that's the problem with 90% of realtors, is they think they're working for me or Michaelangelo, or they think they're working for Keller Williams or Weicker. They are not. They're independent contractors running their own business. And they don't treat themselves like business people. This is your own business. Go out, make it happen. Make no excuses, fire away, schedule meetings, but fill that schedule up, and you're going to start having the most successful weeks and months of your life. And listen, if you're at a financial point in your life where you don't have to fill the schedule up, if this is just a side hustle for you, God bless you, right? One day it's going to be me, I think. Although I don't know if I could ever slow down. But But for those of you who are like, I want these big dreams, I'm setting these big goals, the only thing stopping you, and this is hard to say, but the truth is the only thing that stops you is you. That's it. Set goals, attack goals, get goals. In the military, I always told my men, let's keep it real simple. See the hill, pick up your gun, take the hill. Lay down more fire on the enemy, overwhelm them with fire, flank them, kill them. Like, we didn't come up with like real extravagant plans. When we trained, it was fire from the right, take cover, return fire, either bound back or flank them. Make decisions, but we kept it real simple. See the hill, take the hill. See the goal, go get the goal. God bless you. Beautiful, all of you.
So key to success, patterns. Can you see the patterns in some of the things, in the rituals, the routines, whatever you want to call it, that we're doing on a weekly, daily, monthly, yearly basis, and we're constantly changing, we're constantly growing, we're adapting. I know exactly what I need to do, and we all know exactly what we need to do in order to fail. It's just it's the reality of it. And that's half the battle. If you know how to lose, you know how to win. You can't know how to lose without knowing how to win. Does that even make sense? That all you have to do is the complete opposite of what you're already doing? If you're not seeing results, right? Let's say it's exercising. That's what it takes. You're not doing it. Okay. Oh, that's the macro picture. What about the micro? Well, then it's diet, it's nutrition, it's when you eat, it's how you eat. There's a lot of it. But you have to start somewhere. And the problem with bad habits or bad patterns rather, is that they're all encompassing. You have a couple bad habits. Well, what does that lead to? More bad habits. And we all got them. I got them. I'm no different. You can't see it here on the screen, but I have a couple of bad habits myself. So again, don't overcomplicate it. Winning before you begin is just realizing what it takes to fail. How screwed up is that? Just know how to fail and you can win. But the problem is, if you don't take action, nothing happens. You can, till you're blue, or in my case, always red in the face. If you don't take action, nothing happens. Look, how many people will blame the gym, the literal gym, because they didn't lose weight? The gym. They blame the gym because they didn't lose weight. But you never went. You just signed up. Well, I thought if I signed up for the gym that I was just going to lose weight. No, you have to go to the gym and you have to work out. You have to take action. And so you think about, taking action, and we're trying to not subconsciously get you to remember this stuff. Just remember. And, don't tell yourself the fear, the survival methods, be comfortable. All of those things is what we end up reverting back to. And you're never going to grow that way. It's impossible. Grow a different way, but you're not going to grow that way. We want it to make sense. Win before you begin. It's just a mindset. That's it. Any questions before, we wrap it up today? We can talk about this. To be quite frank with you, we could talk about anything that you want to talk about. This is an opportunity for you. The floor is yours.
Hey,
Yeah,
Mike,
Tom.
Hey, I've been approached by an investor group that wants to consider me for their front person in terms of doing the transactions for them, buying and selling the properties, but also overseeing the renovations on the flips. And I'm excited about the prospect of doing that if they are the right people. And I haven't, I've been recruited by an administrative assistant just to talk to them, but I'm doing that tomorrow, a conversation with the head of the investor group. But the way they've introduced the compensation to this fix and flip program manager role, part-time, whatever, the way they've approached it is that you get half the profit on the property, but you have no money in the game. Just work, and using my license to acquire, my abilities to find, and then my time and oversight of the contractors to get it up to snuff to flip it.
So what's your concern? Because that sounds excellent.
I just wonder if you ever heard of that kind of thing. I just think it'd be fun to do part-time, overseeing renovation and finding a shitty house. It wouldn't be in Montgomery County, it'd probably be in Frederick County.
All right. I'm going to give you my take on all this. If everybody's listening, Coach will give you a different take. I'm sure we all have different opinions on this. My thing, and I'm not a pessimist, I'm an optimist, right? If it looks like a duck, sounds like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And I'm not saying that this is the case. There's one thing I want you to keep in mind. If it sounds too good to be true, giving you half of the profits to target properties that are what, on market, or are you actually putting in legwork to go out there and acquire these properties for them?
I would be researching and legworking and finding distressed homes and approaching people to and then make the proposal to the investors that this is the one I want to do, and they would put all their money in. And then when we do an accounting, it has to be as straightforward and good as what they have said. Like you're saying, it might be too good to be true. And then they, at the end, they split the compensation when I make the sale.
Hey, Mike and Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I jump in. I was
Sure.
kind of in a somewhat situation like this, different business. And the one thing I found, maybe something just to keep an eye out for, it was very easy for the main investors to inflate their costs, and they would show me P&Ls. And, I would go back through the P&Ls and be like, guys, come on, management, they would create terms. So they controlled what I was making, by inflating their costs. So Tom, just maybe a little something to look out for. I don't know how you, with what you're going forward there with, how you monitor that, but, just my.
I would like the arrangement, and this is what I'm going to be offering them when I get a chance to, after they present their stuff. I would like to be the accountant. I'll keep the books and I'll show them. I mean, I'll pay the contractors myself. I'll go to closings, both closings, of course, buying it and then selling it. So I'll be transparent with them. They won't have a way to put any fees in, and I'll be instructing the title company, on how to distribute funds for the transaction.
Sounds like a cool thing. I like the idea.
But I don't know if they're going to let me do that. I'm not writing my ideal scenario without them involved.
Well, again, you're an independent contractor, and you run your business any way you feel good about, and I encourage you to build all the relationships in the world. I would say, my advice would be that it's probably a scam. They're probably going to run you to death and give you about $1,000 for your efforts. I would shy away. I would probably go find your own investor, find young investors, and post on social media. Looking for first-time investors. Let me walk you through the process. I know great investors. I know the process here in Maryland. Maybe go to investor seminars, buy, flip, sell, hold.
Yeah. And I go to the Cash Flow Breakfast Club. It's a 3-hour intense session, and I'm there both to learn, but also to meet investors who want an agent to help them.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I got used up by these Israelis investors. They work me nights, days, weekends, 100 hours a week, just run me ragged. And I ended up making total for about 6 months of 100 hours a week, just focused on their business. I ended up making a total of about $72. So it definitely was not worth well, I will say this. I learned the business.
Oh yeah.
I learned so much. The business.
I
showed them 1,000 homes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I put in 1,000 offers at about 1/10 of what each home was worth. So they got me indoors, they got me hustling, they got me moving, but it didn't take long for me to figure out and then when we did get a couple, when I went to relist them, they wanted me to do it at 2%, 1% for me, 1% of the real. So it didn't take me long to realize that they did not have my best interest at heart. But if you get a good investor,
I don't think there is one.
They're out there. Sean's got a couple. I have a couple. I have one investor will buy anything I put in front of him.
Wow.
Anything.
It's true. He does.
Yeah. So it's finding the right investors, but just be very careful. Protect yourself. I would be very wary.
Yeah. Protect your license, Tom, above all else. Right. So when you're practicing real estate with that hat on, remember this: your brokerage is the only one that can pay you, not the client directly. So if you're practicing in the capacity in which you believe you're using your real estate license, tread carefully also. Okay, because only the brokerage can pay you. Guys, just so we're all clear, the client can never pay you directly for your services. Real estate commission finds out, done. There's nothing to talk about, right? And they say, oh, I paid him for this, and this ended up happening. Now, if you want to run a property if you want to run something under your own umbrella that's not going to involve our errors and omissions, then go and create an entity. Yeah. And build a relationship. Maybe there is something there. It sounds like they're trying to get a lot of people. They're incentivizing a lot of people to go out there and basically wholesale for them. Go out there, find the best deals, bring them in, right? And then if they can capture these properties, then they can turn them around. If the margins make sense, then they'll pay you based on their ARV that they show you ahead of time. But then what they don't show you is that it needs an extra 100 grand here, this, that, and the next. And again, I'm not being pessimistic. I'm just being optimistic. Protect your time because your time is your most valuable asset. Oh, I love freaking questions, guys. I literally live for questions. Anybody else have anything while we're here?
Hey guys, I wanted to see if I can get Tom, if I could get with you for a few minutes to talk to you about your open houses.
Sure.
How could I get in touch with you?
And if you want to put it in the chat box, we're all family here.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Pop it in the chat box so Chris can get that and you guys can connect. And that's the beautiful thing about the colony, guys. Please, if the odds are myself or Dan is sponsored an agent in this organization for the most part, but we're all a big family. So if there's somebody that you see in the Facebook group, on social media, reach out to them. No one is, if you want to pick somebody's brain, go out there and pick somebody's brain. You want to pick our brains, you know how to find us. There it is. Chris, make sure you got Tom's number. This way you guys can connect after the fact.
Sure. That's great.
Chris,
And then guys,
website,
yeah.
Are you on the Facebook page, Chris, the colony?
Yeah, he is.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, he's in there. Yeah, so again, we did the 6 core and what we believe building blocks to any successful business. We do win before you begin. It's really a mindset thing. Get you comfortable with doing things that you may not be doing or you may be doing already, and maybe you do it a little differently, but it's time to gear it up. Right? The next time we're back here, we're focusing on production. We're going to talk about buyers, where to find them, things that you should be saying, right? How to build confidence when you're working with them. All right, and we're going to transition, and that's what it's all about. And in the future, if there's anything, guys, that you want us to cover, just let us know. Right? We die if you guys don't ask questions. I think people fail to recognize that. We can get up here and preach all day long. Right? It's supply and demand. If you have questions, like even with my mentees, if you don't have questions, I will not just hop on a call. If we don't have something placed, like you have to have questions. I hold people accountable.
All right.
Right.
All right. Got one more.
Okay, good. Fire away. You got it.
All right. So in Clarksburg, just north of here, between here and Frederick, just south of Urbana, and there's a huge growth going on. Old farmland and whatever is now being these luxury townhomes. One I hope to do an open house for is 725. These are gorgeous, all this granite and high ceilings and whatever. So my question is, they're still building. And this might not be the project, but generally, is there a way to get in at the ground floor of being a representative for a builder, helping them sell their properties as they get?
That's a great question. Now, it really all depends. If you're talking about some of the big builders out there, the Ryan Homes, the DR Hortons, they already have sales representatives, right? But I want you to keep in mind, don't let that deter you from actually approaching some of those model homes. They actually pay those people salaries to be there and sell the homes. Now, they're very open, a lot of them, if not all of them, some excluding a couple of the big builders, they'll cooperate with agents. They want us to bring our buyers, right? Some of them will even incentivize us to bring more buyers. You can go through and you can use let's just say a model home, for example, as an opportunity to create content, right? Market open house. Market yourself as an open house, as a new home or a new construction specialist. Go in there and tour them, create content, whatever the case is. As far as hosting open houses, you would look for a niche builder, a smaller builder, right, that you could build a relationship with, and let them know, Tom, it's not just about asking for a new builder for an open house. Like, what are you going to do to help sell the property, right? Like, are you going to go above and beyond? Now, that's if they don't already have a relationship, but you don't know until you ask. The problem is most people won't ask because they already assume. They assume that, oh, okay, Dan has a listing appointment. So what they'll do is they'll already assume that they have a working relationship with another professional, and what happens? They don't ask. So absolutely, look for the small builders. Remember, the bigger builders typically have a representative that is salaried, that is on site Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday. Sometimes it really depends, but definitely shoot your shot. Ask. All right, I usually, if I can do this, what'll happen is, no, I know you guys think I'm doing this. No. So there's actually a thing, like if I put my thumbs up on Zoom, like a thumbs up will appear, but it didn't. But all right, I appreciate you guys all for coming. If you have any questions, you know how to reach us. bring us questions. We have answers. Have a great one, and we'll talk to you guys soon. See you in 2 weeks.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Later. Later.